The maiden edition of Founders Day, a day set aside to recognize the contributions made by successive generations of Ghanaians across many decades to the liberation of our nation from the shackles of colonialism and imperialism, and the founding of the new nation-state of Ghana. 4 years on, it is good to see that the needless controversy, spurred on by largely outdated political considerations, that initially embroiled the celebration of this day, is being gradually set aside as more and more Ghanaians now come to appreciate the collective effort made by many Ghanaians to the process of gaining our independence. 4th August, in the life and history of our nation, is one of utmost importance. It is indeed a sacred day. We must remember the sacrifices made some 126 years ago when a group of our forebears formed the Aborigines Rights Protection Society in Cape Coast on 4th August 1897 to resist the application and implementation of the 1897 Crown Lands Bill, which sought to sequestrate and expropriate our lands to the benefit of the British Crown, as was done during the same era to the lands of our fellow Africans in Eastern and Southern Africa. The Society mobilized the chiefs and people and public opinion in the then Gold Coast to agitate against this pernicious legislation and eventually force the colonial power to withdraw the bill. The ownership of our lands was never an issue again during the rest of the colonial period. We should not then forget that we continued to possess our lands freely, unlike the situation in Eastern and Southern Africa, because of the bravery and foresight of the members of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society. And we must continually pay homage to these patriots. Fellow Ghanaians, the second of the two significant events in the struggle, after the agitations of the 1920s, 1930s, and early 1940s, then occurred on 4th August 1947, exactly 50 years later to the day of the formation of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, when a group of nationalists, including, quote, paramount chiefs, clergymen, lawyers, entrepreneurs, teachers, traders, and men and women from all walks of life in the Gold Coast, unquote, according to an eyewitness, gathered in Salt Pond for the launch of the United Gold Coast Convention, the UGCC, the first political party in our country. The UGCC was the first political party to make a formal demand for independence. Indeed, the first time any such demand was made in colonial Africa, a demand made 11 days before the Declaration of India's independence on 15th August 1947. In the words of the chronicler, L.H. Ofosu-Appiah, 4th August 1947, quote, marked the beginning of a new era in the Gold Coast, unquote. It is the date which shaped and determined the course of our collective history, setting the stage for an organized front for Ghana's independence struggle. History has captured the seminal events that unlocked the door to freedom. The triggering of mass resistance by Nikwap Namboni, boycotting through the boycott of goods of European independent Ghana. We should continue to celebrate this day accordingly. Today, 76 years later, and 66 years after independence, Our nation is considered a beacon of democracy and stability in Africa, where the rule of law, respect for individual liberties and human rights, and the principles of democratic accountability are part and parcel of our governance structure. These are the very things for which our forebears fought. The battle our generation must fight and win is that of rapid economic development. We must set Ghana to rights and get our country to where it should be. The challenge before us remains to build a modern economy and thereby generate a prosperous, progressive, and dignified life for the mass of our people. Hard work, enterprise, creativity, discipline, and a consistent and effective fight against corruption in public life will bring the transformation we seek. I am confident that with a united will, we can achieve this in our lifetime. I wish all Ghanaians a happy Founders Day, and may God bless us all in our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong.
So you may be for or against the president's position on the celebration of 4th of August as a Founders Day. However, you will still enjoy the holiday tomorrow anyway. But whichever way your stance is, I was a student of the University of Ghana somewhere around 2005 to 2009. And in 2005 and I think 2006 and maybe 2007, I was a student of history, student of one of the very foremost professors of history here in Ghana, especially on slave trade, especially on all of those issues in West Africa and in the whole of Africa here, Professor Akosua Pebby. And she lectured me. I have followed her footsteps. She also has a view on whether it's a Founders Day or a Founders Day for one person or by a group of people that make sure that we will enjoy the grounded democracy that we have today. We have a 1 minute 30 seconds video for you from Professor Akosua Pebby. She thinks that it should be a celebration of the number of people who got us the independence. She even talks about the role her father had played and how her father had influenced her thinking in all of this. Let's see Akosua Pebby.
I'm worried about the issue of Founder Apostrophes Day. And I think we need to say this. I want to say it as a historian, that if I look at incipient nationalism, if you look at many names, like Kesley Hayford, J.B. Dankwa, Gokusus, and De Graaf Johnson, Pa Grant. I mean, how can we forget Pa Grant was the one who bought the ticket for Nkrumah to come. You know, my father, Professor Nketia, was a very good friend of Nkrumah. And they were in the African Union together. And they met in London University. And my father said that when Nkrumah was coming to Ghana, they met at the dining table and he said, Kwabena, have been invited to be secretary for UGCC. So sometimes I bring my father to my history level 300 class to share his personal experience with Nkrumah. I'm even saying that if we want to do founders with no apostrophe, but founders, you don't have to have one. And we need to, I'm sure if Nkrumah was alive, he would say, let me pay honor to Pa Grant, who paid my ticket for me to come. And I think that Titi Wobichre, Aba Akwasem, it has come and gone. But something brings a story. And the story is a lot. So depending on where you are standing, depending on what you are looking out for, you may unearth so much material. And I think maybe we should be doing more of these discussions, various periods, because we can't use 20 minutes, for example, to unearth a history that has been there for about 200-300 years. But we can pick bits of it, nuggets of gold, and do it bit by bit and get it all together. So I'm very happy about this. Now I can sleep in peace.
Great. Well, so that's a thought. However you think, or whatever research you want to do, of course, it's all about the history of Ghana. But it is being written, and well, let me just go on and play this video for you. For those of you who may have seen it before, it is an opportunity for you to analyze it again, see it again, criticize it again, and of course, be informed with it again. This is a documentary which has been done by my senior Paul Adomochiri on the celebration of the 4th of August, on the Founders' Day, on how Ghana came about to become independent. Enjoy this video.
Every nation that is founded out of a glorious struggle towards self-determination, and that becomes a global torchbearer like the Gold Coast or Ghana, or the United States of America, or even South Africa, remember significant epochs of the struggle that build up to the eventual grand victory. Such dates and events become important to the country and are celebrated generally as national days, Republic Days, or Founders' Days. In Ghana, Founders' Day is set aside to remember men and women who worked and fought to make our nation great and make it a torchbearer for African self-determination through the achievement of independence. Founders' Day will be celebrated on the 4th of August every year. 4th August is the date on which two major epochal events occurred in different centuries and which changed the course of events positively towards our eventual self-determination. First, 4th August was the date for the establishment of the iconic Aborigines Rights Protection Society, ARPS. The ARPS was the key political vehicle used by John Mensah Saba, Atta Ahoma, and others to fight the obnoxious land policy. The said policy was designed to annex all unoccupied land in the Gold Coast for the Crown. The ARPS successfully resisted the policy, arguing that unoccupied lands in Gold Coast had owners, and the owners were all the living, the dead, and the yet to be born. Everyone supported the campaign to defeat the policy.
A newspaper called the Gold Coast Methodist Times offered relevant biblical text for the campaign against the bill. It published on its front page, the day after the bill, the following: "Your land, strangers devour it in your presence." Isaiah 1:7 and Nehemiah 5:2. Other men have our land.
As we talk of Saba, we can't forget that Saba and the ARPS were well funded by the wealthy Gold Coast businessman Wilson Say, who was a wealthy trader in 1897. Thus, the political enterprise of the ARPS was homegrown and locally funded as far back as 1897 in Ghana. That's something to make us proud of our history. Fourth August became important again 50 years later, 50 years after the ARPS. Before then, the ARPS led to the National Congress of British West Africa, which was led by Casely Hayford and Hutton Mills, and they forced the colonial authority to stop arbitrary governance and govern under constitutions. So the constitutions of 1916, 1925 and 1946 were all set up upon the work of Casely Hayford, Kwabena Sechi, Sir Akukosa, Hutton Mills and others. Then in 1947, Dr. Dankwa emerged, now fully established as a politician and philosopher, having worked with Sir Akukosa and others, set up on 4th August 1947, under the funding and guidance of George Grant, the United Gold Coast Convention, the UGCC. Grant called on Dankwa to achieve this.
He saw that there were so much trouble everywhere, so he wanted the white people to go away. He wanted to sack them. So he called Dankwa and asked him if he could get about 6 lawyer friends of his so that they could sit down together and discuss. I remember some of them. I remember Kwaje, Obichabelamte, Lawyer Blay, Lawyer Williams. They had the meeting at Father's house in the dining room, and we always, the children in the house, when we saw these people coming, big people coming, we line up on the veranda just to see them.
Here in this photo taken on the date, and dates 50 years after the ARPS on 4th August 1947, the UGCC had been born. So, as Wilson Say was to John Mensah Saba, Pa Grant was to J.B. Dankwa, men dedicated to the struggle towards eventual self-government. So, 6th March is a date for 2 events, the date for the Bond of 1844 and the date for Independence Day in 1957, whilst 4th August is date for the establishment of the ARPS and that of the UGCC.
Well, the Bond of 1844 was probably the first formal grant of power to the colonial government then to exercise jurisdiction within certain coastal areas. I mean, a much smaller area than the then Gold or what emerged as the Gold Coast, among some certain Fanti chiefs, you know, including, if I may say so, a great grandfather of mine, Nana Otu of Abra. Probably more important for present-day purposes is the date on which the agreement was reached, the site of 6th March, which was later to be taken as our Independence Day.
So that is the Bond of 1844. The case for recognizing history and historical figures towards Ghana's eventual independence is best made by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as he spoke to Parliament on the day that he moved the first independence motion, called the Motion of Destiny, in July 1953. In the 30th paragraph of the speech, as captured in Nkrumah's biography on page 198. He said, quote, "Mr. Speaker, in calling up our past, it is meet on an historic occasion such as this to pay tribute to those ancestors of ours who laid our national traditions and those others who opened the path which made it possible to reach today the great moment at which we stand." End quote. In the continuing paragraphs, Nkrumah recounts the efforts of all the groups that had worked towards self-government, and then on page 199, he said as follows about the ARPS. Quote, "Then the Aborigines Rights Protection Society was the next nationalist movement to be formed, with its excellent aims and objectives, and by putting up their titanic fight for which we cannot be sufficiently grateful, they formed an unforgettable bastion for the defense of our God-given land, and thus preserved our inherent right to freedom. Such men as Mensa Saba, Atta Ahuma, Say, and Wood have played their role in this great fight." End quote. And then on page 200, he mentions the role of the UGCC. Quote, "As with the case of the National Congress of British West Africa, the United Gold Coast Convention was organized at the end of the Second World War to give expression to the people's desire for better conditions. The British government, seeing the threat to its security here, arrested 6 members of the convention and detained them for several weeks until the Watson Commission came." End quote. So what was the Watson Commission? It was the commission that was set up after Sergeant Ajite, Corporal Atipo, and Private Udate Lamte had been killed on 28th of February 1948 to investigate the riots. The colonial authority was really crumbling under the weight of the work of the UGCC. All 6 leaders of the UGCC were arrested, and they became the Big Six. The commission included Mr. Aiken Watson, Mr. A. Dalgleish, Dr. K.A. Murray. The commission actually concluded that based on everything that was happening in the country, Gold Coast was ready for independence by the next decade. The commission thoroughly engaged the members and made the following assessment in paragraph 68 on page 17 of the report. Quote, "The United Gold Coast Convention was mooted in April or May 1947 and held its inaugural meeting at Salt Pond in August 1947. We were given a circumstantial account of its birth. However interesting that proved, we are satisfied that its creator and driving force, at all events until the arrival of Mr. Nkrumah, was Dr. Dankwa. Dr. Dankwa might be described as the doyen of Gold Coast politicians." End quote. Writing to his wife Abigail about the process of U.S. independence, John Adams, one of the founding fathers, wrote, quote, "The 2nd day of July 1776 will be the most memorable epochs in the history of America, but Independence Day is actually celebrated on the 4th, the date that the Declaration of Independence was approved." End quote. Similarly, 4th August is a memorable epoch in the history of Ghana's colonial struggle, whilst Independence Day is 6th of March, same date as the Bond of 1844.
I'm worried about the issue of founder apostrophes day. And I think we need to say this. I want to say it as a historian, that if I look at incipient national, if you look at many names, like Kesley Hayford, J.B. Dankwa, Gold Coast Youth, and DeGraff Johnson, Pa Grant. I mean, how can we forget Pa Grant was the one who bought the ticket for Nkrumah to come. You know, my father, Professor Nketia, was a very good friend of Nkrumah. And they were in the African Union together. And they met in London University. And my father said that when Nkrumah was coming to Ghana, they met at the dining table and he said, "Kwabena, I've been invited to be secretary for UGCC." So sometimes I bring my father to my history level 300 class to share his personal experience with Nkrumah. I'm even saying that if we want to do founders, with no apostrophe, but founders, you don't have to have one. And we need to, I'm sure if Nkrumah was alive, he would say, let me pay honor to Pa Grant, who paid my ticket for me to come. And I think that Titi Wobiche, Aba Akwasem, it has come and gone. But something brings a story, and the story is a lot. So depending on where you are standing, depending on what you are looking out for, you may unearth so much material. And I think maybe we should be doing more of these discussions, various periods, because we can't use 20 minutes, for example, to unearth a history that has been there for about 200-300 years. But we can pick bits of it, nuggets of gold, and do it bit by bit and get it all together. So I'm very happy about this. Now I can sleep in peace.
Great. Well, so that's about it. And tomorrow, I'm sure if we have the opportunity at any time in the course of the day, Metro TV will still repeat this video for you. That's for the young ones that are coming up and those who are still adamant about the contribution and the role people played in the history of Ghana. I'll go on a quick break. When I come back, I'll be talking to you about the timeline, the storyline of Honorable Cecilia Dapaah, the former Minister for Sanitation. She had been at the Aviation Ministry before she came to the Ministry of Sanitation, and of course she's embattled now. And lots of issues about the money found, not necessarily even found in her house, but as it is in court, what exactly is happening in court and so on and so forth. But just before I go on the break, let me do this LPM, and I can quickly go on the break and come back. The Makers Electronics Company Limited. So it's the Makers Electronics Blessing Attack promo. Rush to the Makers Electronics Company Limited for up to 67% discount on selected appliances such as Samsung, LG, Moved, NASCO, TCL, Media, and Toshiba. Quality but affordable with 2 years manufacturer defect warranty. Visit our showrooms. It can be found at Taifa Burkina Highway, Amasaman Zungu Junction, Oyarifa Teman, Boga Junction, Kaswa New Market, Ashaiman Valco Flat, Kumasi Ahinema Kokobin, Takrady Ifyukuma number 9 Market, and you can call us on 055-222-22253. So 055-222-223 or 055-222-224. 055-222-254. The Makers Electronics Company Limited, large and in charge with quality but affordable home appliances and consumer electronics. Note that terms and conditions apply. And now, enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infirmities stand in our ways of enjoying our mansions and homes, it often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. Worry no more, because with portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVEs, you are sure of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It is a simple to use self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility to form or to choose from. You may call it luxury, but it is a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home or office that is affordable and can be installed within 3 days with modification to your building. Visit Lifts and Elevators Ghana at Sakumono for your solutions and free consultations. Call us now on 0200-535-515, or you can email us at elevatorsgh@gmail.com. Stay with us, we'll be right back, and we will be talking about Honorable Cecilia Dapaah.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
My name is John, and this is my long-time crush, my cookie dipped in strawberry yogurt. On this scorching hot afternoon on our way back from a long job hunt, we met this good Samaritan who offered us
6 weeks later.
A special wedding reception for our bride and groom.
And there she is, my cookie, dipped in someone else's yogurt.
Who holds the moolah, calls the shots, play game by games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Big 4 numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times daily to become one of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now, or you can also play online at www.gameparkgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
JA Plantpool Ghana Limited has introduced the all-new Jetto X70 Plus to the market. Jetto X70 Plus is a modern, spacious family SUV with a stylish design, advanced technology, and outstanding quality that promises you luxury with affordability. Jetto X70 Plus comes with an exceptional engine warranty of 4 years or 100,000 kilometers, giving you the ultimate peace of mind for years to come. And our dedicated service center at JA Plantpool offers you a wide range of car services and world-class customer support. The exclusive and outstanding. Get yourself the all-new Jetto X70 Plus. Get in touch with JA Plantpool Ghana Limited on 020-0000-831 or info@japlantpoolgh.com. Visit japlantpoolgh.com for more information.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501-678-547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
My son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you and couple the makers in
The pneumatological aberration of the Lord revealed unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. I'm up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Ewo Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasama Zongo Junction. At the K Pharmacy Dining. Oyer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobin. Asafu Buachi Hospital Junction. Takradi. Kuma. Number 9 Market.
Tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program
from 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply. The same got to move.
Right, so you all come back from the break. This is still Good Evening Ghana. We are live here in our studios serving you with all the things that you want to find on the airwaves. And what I'm going on to next is about the embattled Honorable Cecilia Dapaah, former aviation minister, and of course recently the Ministry of Sanitation. So now the former Minister of Sanitation. I'm going to play for you a timeline as produced by my senior Paul Adomotri of the sequence of events that have happened since news broke out about some amounts that were in her custody or in her house, which had been stolen by her house help and her accomplices. So if you have followed the story, after the news broke out, lots of rancor was in the airways. She followed out or up to present to the president her resignation. The president actually accepted the resignation. The minister or former minister is very hopeful that at the end of any investigation, at the end of the court ruling, at the end of all the processes, she will be exonerated. She's served the public very well. She's been an outstanding stateswoman and so on and so forth. And some people, including the venerable Franklin Cudjoe, had put up a statement or had made a statement that we shouldn't prejudge the woman for having such amounts of monies in her custody. In fact, conversations had gone on, so maybe not on screen or maybe not on air as we are doing, but about the fact that lots of people had made purchases of the dollar when the dollar kept running up and kept them in the house. And so it's possible that she may have. But her case is in court, and she's put out how she made the money, where she got it from, what she was doing with the money, and why the money was with her in the house. All of this in the court documents. And that's why people like Franklin Cudjoe believe that people shouldn't prejudice the case. Paul Adomotri had done a series on this and gone into the details of all of this. How much of the money she owned herself, how much of it belonged to her husband, and actually profiled the husband, what he does, and his capability of being able to make such amounts of money. Let's see that video. We'll come back and give you the rest of the story.
So this is Cecilia Dapaah's husband. He's over 80 years old. This is Cecilia Dapaah. She's nearly 70 years old. This is Cecilia Dapaah's husband at work as an architect. All right, let's start with the police statement, and then we'll build it from there. Now that we know the, is it next? Okay, they'll get the police statement for me. Yes, so here is the police statement. So earlier today, after all the drama of the OSP, now we have a second story about the OSP and his activities. And don't take it personal. OSC is my friend. I'm older than him, but I call him senior. Not too long ago, I was in a long conversation with him. So I know him. He's a good guy. He said he's a good guy. What I'm going to talk about has nothing to do with him personally. It has to do with the way the OSC's office operates, and I'll deal with that coming soon. Now, very, very soon. But now let's start with the Cecilia Dapaah story itself. So this is a press release that's signed by Grace Ansah Akrofi, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Director, Public Relations, and it's as follows. Police submit case docket on investigations into a case of stealing reported by Mr. Daniel Osei Kufuor and Honorable Cecilia Dapaah to the Office of the Attorney General. So the police have submitted a docket. It says, 1, following a case of stealing reported to the police by Mr. Daniel Osei Kufuor and Honorable Cecilia Dapaah, former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, the police initiated investigations into the case, arrested some suspects, recovered some of the stolen items, and arraigned the suspects before court. Okay. Police have since forwarded the docket to the Office of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice for review and advice. Grace Ansah Akrofi, Assistant Commissioner of Police. She signed it. Okay, so there are a lot of questions that we'll try and answer tonight. Now, what we are going to do tonight is not against anybody, and it's not in defense of anybody. It's to share with you the facts as has come to us. We will put a connotation on the facts as we are wont to do all the time, and then you can interpret that connotation the way you want. But everything that we're going to tell you here is true, nothing untrue. Okay. All right, as we have seen, because we have seen the charge sheets on the police. People are asking questions, something like this: why do you report to the police? Da, da, da. People are even criticizing the president for the kind of statements he released, that it's prejudicial and da, 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 da. Okay, so let's get to the story. So this is the man. Now, let's get to the stolen money or the missing money or whatever it is. Okay, so no, we will start with 800, please. Let's start with the lower one. Please, 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 please. Yes. Okay. So this is the first amount of money missing. 200,000 United States dollars. It was in a bag, according to the report that was made to the police. And the report that was made to the police is months old. The amendment to the charge sheet occurred on the 20th of July. The story broke in Ghanaian Chronicle on the 21st of July. So if people are concerned about the amendment of the charge sheet, it was done at the time the story hadn't broke. Since the story broke, Cecilia Dapaah and the complainants have not changed any part of the story. And that's very important for us to establish, because we asked them that this charge sheet you are giving to us, which has been amended a few times, has it been amended since the story broke? And they said no. The last amendment occurred on the 20th of July, whereas the story broke on the 21st of July. So since the 21st of July, which is last Friday, no changes have been made onto the charge sheet, and we needed to satisfy ourselves with that, okay, before we get into the story. So we were told that, okay, $200,000 in a bag belonging to Cecilia Dapaah, $200,000 in a bag belonging to Cecilia Dapaah was tampered with. Let's move on. 300,000 euros in a bag belonging to Mr. Osei Kufuor, Cecilia Dapaah's husband, and her business was also in a bag inside the room. Okay. Jewelry in a container was also in the room, and it was also tampered with. Some of it stolen, some of it brought back, and they don't know, the police don't know how long the stealing took. But it wasn't a one-off stealing. I don't know how you call it, conversion for lawyers or whatever. It wasn't one-off stealing. It was pilfering, stealing small. Mabana comes, take 10,000, gives it. This one come, take 10,000. This one come, and somebody was caught red-handed. That's the story. I mean, that's one people know already. It's in the charge sheet that came out. The guy was caught red-handed, and he said, "Oh, me, dear, I just took this one. But yesterday, Mabana took this. He's bought a house in a man here. Mabana says Dauda took this, and he's going. Dauda says that this one took this. So that's the way the thing happened, as we say it in pidgin manner, like that." So this is also a box, jewelry. So we've accounted for 300,000 euro belonging to Cecilia Dapaah's husband, 200,000 euro belonging to Cecilia Dapaah herself. And the big one, the big one, this one, $800,000 in a wooden box with a padlock in front of it. $800,000 in a wooden box with a padlock in front of it. Now, the alarm came when the padlock was seen to have been broken. It's not in the safe. It's in all of this was in her house. $800,000 with the padlock in it. Okay. Now let's go and account for the funds one by one according to what is on the charge sheet as she reported to the police. Okay. Let's start. Let's go back. Let's go back and start. Okay. So $200,000 belongs to her. That's what she wrote. It's for me, Cecilia Dapaah. $200,000. Okay. 300,000 euro. It is for my husband. He wrote here. I said it is for me. It's for my work. Okay. And then 800,000. The jewelry is for Cecilia Dapaah as well. 800,000 is for a man. Okay. That's the controversial matter. Now, the 800,000 was reported to the police and described to belong to Cecilia Dapaah's brother. We'll get you the details of who the brother is, what he does, where did he get 800,000 from. We'll get you the details of who the husband is, what he does, where did he get 300,000 from, as is on the charge sheet. And then Cecilia Dapaah, we all know what he does. We can raise the question, Auntie Cici, where did you get your $200,000 from? We can raise that question. We will raise that question tonight. But here, this $800,000 is controversial. Why? Because it doesn't belong to Cecilia Dapaah and her husband. It doesn't belong to them. The $800,000, according to what Cecilia Dapaah wrote to the police, which is in the charge sheet right now as I speak to you, if you get the charge sheet, it is there. And it was written months ago. It is for her brother, who died, unfortunately, at age 60. Before the brother died, she had given this amount of money to their mother, that their mother should keep the money because he was going to use it for an enterprise. I'll show you the brother's profile, and you will see what he does, and then you can understand and you can make your own decision whether he could have $800,000 or not. People in Kumasi know him very, very well. Okay, so that money was given to Cecilia Dapaah's mother before the man died. When the man died, Cecilia Dapaah's mother called her and said, your brother's money, the one he gave me for the purpose of, I'll show you the purpose as I talk the story, for the purpose of XYZ, is still with me. I think I should hand it over to you for safekeeping. So Cecilia took the money with the consent of the other siblings, the consent and concurrence, if you like. With the consent and concurrence of the other siblings, she took the money. Okay. So now the money is with her. Then her mother, who gave her the money, also unfortunately passes. And those who know Cecilia Dapaah know that she had two funerals almost close to each other, her brother and her mother. Everybody went to Kumasi for it. President was there. Everybody was there. Okay. So when her mother died, this was still with her. And it was given to her with the consent and concurrence of her brothers. So once this was tampered with, how was she going to inform the other brothers that our brother's money that was given to me has been stolen? She was going to suffer a family integrity crisis. Hence the report to the police. That's why she reported to the police. Because this money is not for her. And the family people know that it is with her. So the other brothers also wrote a statement in the charge sheet. They wrote a statement. The other brothers wrote and said, yes, we are aware that this box was given to Cecilia and we are aware of the contents. Because if she didn't do that, how is she going to tell the people that the money that was given to me, my brother's money, is missing? How is she going to, how is she going to deal with that? It's a family integrity issue. Because you live with your husband, your brothers don't live there. And then you come and tell us that the $800,000 is what? Who stole? Mahabana stole $800,000? No, nobody's going to believe it. So it's not all the 800 that was stolen. It's not all that was stolen. But it was broken into by the breaking of the padlock. The seal was broken. So everybody knew that somebody has tampered with this. Now that's why the report was made to the police, so that there will be a public issue. Okay. With that said, let's get to the background of the people. So $200,000 for Cecilia Dapaah, 300,000 euros for her husband, $800,000 for the money that her brother gave to the mother. The mother died and handed it over to her. All right. Let's get to the details. Let's start with her husband's company, Mr. Ben Osei-Kuffour. What are we doing? We are trying to get on an investigation to determine whether the source of funds is plausible, whether it is potentially corrupt funds, whether it is potentially stolen money from politics, or whatever it is. Okay, so we are now accounting for 300,000 euro of Cecilia Dapaah's husband, who says the 300,000 euro is for me. He claims it in the charge sheet, in the statement to the police. He claims it. He said it's for me. Okay, how does a man like that come by 300,000 euro? It's not simple to have 300,000 euro. many of us watching don't have 300,000 euro. If I had 300,000 euro, I will say hallelujah and I'm praying for it, but it will be in the bank. But everybody is different. We now know that it's not an offense. There's some of the old school people, like the 80-year-old people. They've gone through several epochs in Ghana here, as we say in Pidgin, in Ghana here, where laws have been passed and people have lost their money in the bank. Those of us who are young may not understand, but there was a time when some 50 cedi notes issued during the Rawlings era and you lost your money. So a lot of the old people, they are not accustomed to those of us who are doing internet banking and phone banking and mobile money banking, and they don't know those things. They keep their money under their bed because they don't know tomorrow. A lot of the people who are beyond 70 and all of that, they do a lot of cash transactions. They keep the cash with them. They don't put it in any bank, you know, because of the history they have suffered from the Nkrumah era to the Busia. So there was the Nkrumah era where people were afraid to have money in the bank because you'll be called. And then the Busia era, they did the depreciation of the currency and people's money was lost. In the Rawlings era, there was seizure of people's money in the bank just to clean up and deal with inflation. So they've seen all of these things. Therefore, if you talk to them, you will not understand why, but they don't take their money to the bank. We do. We are internet banking and all that. The generation behind us, they are internet banking. We are Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. Yeah, we understand those things. Later tonight, Mikhail will present on why the bed has gone and X has come on Twitter. And yeah, we are internet people. So we can do that. But our parents are very slow to commit a lot of money to the bank. Anyway, that's it. Let's now look at Osei Kufuor, Sean and Partners. He's an architect, and he prides himself as the first architect to come from Kwewu. He's the first Kwewu architect. That's what he prides himself in. And he says that this 300,000 euro is for him. It's for him. He didn't steal it. It's for him. It's money out of his work. Okay. So this is some of his work. Let's see what some of the projects that he has done before. So notable projects of Osei Kufuor, Sony and Partners. Number 1, GCB headquarters, High Street, Accra. Does anyone know, those of you who live in Accra, do you know the GCB headquarters? It was a project worth 8 million cedis. It's a project a while back. At that time, the dollar was about 4 or 5. And he did a project worth 8 million cedis. Can such a man have 300,000 euro? I don't know. You answer the question yourself. I don't know. Number 2, he did embassy premises of the Embassy of Russian Federation. He was paid $15 million. No, he wasn't paid. The project was worth. So I don't know how much he was paid. I don't know. But the project was worth $15 million. That project was worth $15 million. He's over 80 years old. He's done architecture for 50 years. He says the 300,000 euro is for me. He's claimed the money. Now this is his profile. So let's see a few. We just selected a few of the projects. Office building of the Canadian High Commission, $600,000 was the project worth. New office of the College of Physicians and Surgeons, $3 million is the project worth. This is the kind, and this is not government projects, by the way. Okay, GCB is government a little bit. Yeah, but the rest are not government, you know. So this is what Mr. Ben Osei Kufuor has been doing with his life over the last 50 years. Is he able to have 300,000 euro in the bag? It's up to you to answer the question. You can answer it on the text message. So those of us who are saying all the things we are saying, this is what it is. Okay, let's move on. The Tamale Teaching Hospital, that's clearly government. The worth of the project is 35 million euro. 35 million, even if his profit is 3 million euro, can he have 300,000 euro in his house? You answer the question. I don't know. 6, Silver Star Tower, $8 million. And the projects are listed here. It's on the website. It's verifiable. 81 or 82-year-old man. And then all of us, small boys. Hey, you're Kronfo, you're Chino, you're Kronfo, you're thief, you're Chino. Who cheat him? This is the man's profile. Don't you want to pray that by the time you are 82, you can list this? By the time you are 81, 82, you can say that I have been a news reporter for 50 years. Don't you want to say that? And if some small boys are on the street like me, small boy like me, and I say, it's a thief, you're Chino, you're chasing the powers, or you're Kronfopa. Really? Or you're Kronfo? Are you sure about that? Anyway, the truth will come out. We are not here to say Oye Kronfo or Onye Kronfo. That's not our job tonight. Our job tonight is to put out the facts. And these are facts. They are verifiable. We verified it. They are verifiable. So this is, all media can do what they want. But we will bring out the facts. And I've always been inspired by something Winston Churchill said in the middle of the Second World War. He told the British people, he said, Hitler will do his worst, but we will do our best. He inspired the British people. Now don't worry about Hitler. He will do his worst, but we will do our best. So we are not concerned about the trajectory of all media. No. We went to the police. We said, can we have the charge sheets? Can we have the complainant statement? Is it a matter of public record that we can get it? The police said you can get it. Okay, can we see it? Then we started reading it. These are the facts. 200,000 is for me, 300,000 is for 800,000 is for my late brother. The jewelry is for me, some of it is for my mother. This is it. I'm not saying somebody is not a thief. I'm not saying somebody has not stolen money. I don't know. I'm not the CID. I'm not the court. But these are the facts. These are the facts. Okay, let's move on. Refurbishing, I think this is the last one. Refurbishing of Independence Square. This is old. For Ghana at 50, 1.4 million cedis. At Ghana at 50 time, 1.4 million in 2007, 1.4 million was equivalent to $1.3 million. We had just done the currency thing. So as Kufuor used to pride himself, he went to Parliament and showed, they said, this Kufuor dollar. You know, remember those? I don't know whether some of you remember those days. But at that time, 1.4 million cedis was $1.3 million. And this is the history of the man. There are many, many, many projects that some of it is forgotten. I understand that when some journalists went to him and he was talking, his assistant was reminding him of some of it. And he had forgotten. But this is Mr. Osei Kufuor, Cecilia Dapa's husband. This is him. And he says, can we get back to the money? Is it coming? Let's get back to the bags. He said, I had in my home 300,000 euro in a bag. In my home, I had it. And these people tried to steal it. Okay, so 300,000 euro accounted for. Let's move on. Jewelry is there, and then let's get to the 200,000. The $200,000 is for Cecilia Dapa. She has claimed it. Okay, who is Cecilia Dapa? Who is she? Cecilia Dapa is a young woman who was educated, I believe, at the University of Ghana and KNUST many, many years ago. She's almost 70 years old. She has been in corporate work for a very long time throughout the 70s and the 80s. She joined politics. Her mother is a queen mother and her brother is a chief. She joined politics, and in 2001, she was a famous lady in the Kufuor administration. She was in the government from 2001 until 2008, Cecilia Dapa. And after 2008, the NDC came into office. The NDC, we understand and we remember, had won a campaign on the back of corruption charges leveled by word of mouth against their opponents, the MPP, in the 2008 campaign. Very well done. I have to say the propaganda was great. Cecilia Dapa was never charged for any criminal corruption or stealing offense by the NDC. The 8 years of the NDC went without anybody questioning her because she had been a minister in the Kufuor administration. In 2016, Akufo-Addo was elected and called on Cecilia Dapa again to serve in his government. Cecilia Dapa then served in the government, beginning as Minister for Aviation and then later on as Minister for Sanitation. And Cecilia Dapa has now resigned from government with 1 year to go, so about almost 7 years as minister. And she had a life in between politics, going back to her private practice, working with her husband. And before the Kufuor administration, Cecilia Dapa was, as they say, already Cecilia Dapa. She had been Bantama MP for 2 terms, the famous Bantama. She was Member of Parliament. If, and it's a big if for the work that she has done, can you put the figures there? If for the work, the money bag, 200,000, if for the work that she has done, we can boldly, hand on heart, say that Cecilia Dapa cannot have 200,000, that's the question for you to answer. I think that for the work that she has done, if Cecilia Dapa has $200,000, it shouldn't surprise any of us. Are we suggesting to ourselves that if we conduct ourselves the way Cecilia Dapa has done, and we are privileged and fortunate to serve in government and to serve in private sector, and to do all the things we are doing and to be married to Mr. Osei for a famous architect, and we will not have $200,000 if that's what we want to say about ourselves. Please say that about yourself. That me, Kofi Bedu, me, Kofi Mensah, John Mensah watching Good Evening Ghana, I will never have $200,000 even if I do Osile Adapadas. Please say that to yourself. Don't say that to me. Me, I want it. That if I have worked the work Cecilia Dapa has done, I should be able to have 200. The Bible says a good man works. People are talking politics. Is it not politics money? I don't know what the money is for. I don't know. But this is somebody who has done an enterprise over a long period. And she said the $200,000 is for me. So it's up to people to decide what they want to do with the information. I'm not here to say she has done wrong or that she hasn't done wrong. I don't know. The CID will determine it. The Attorney General will determine it. The OSP may be part of it. Eventually the courts will determine it. But the facts is what I'm sharing with you. Okay, now let's go to the 800,000, the big one, the 800,000 one, and the controversy surrounding it. Okay, so who is the owner of the 800,000 one? Please, unfortunately for the family, I have to put the obituary on, and then we can deal with it. Okay, so this is the man, Nana Kwesi Sang II. This is him. He is reported to be the owner. This is Cecilia. Do they look alike a little bit? I don't know. Yeah, viewers, you can tell. This is Nana Akwesie's son. Now, he's a chief, and he is Cecilia Dapa's brother, who died, unfortunately, at an early and ripe age of 60. And that happened very, very recently. And soon thereafter, the mother also died. So let's see who he is. Nana Akwesie's son II was the Numuahene of Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. He was a farmer, a contractor, and a manufacturer of security boots supplied in Ghana and in some West African countries like La Côte d'Ivoire. His company name is CDN. That's the name of his company. And this is his obituary. And maybe you can't read the obituary clearly, but I will deal with it. He died in 2022 and was buried, I believe, around the end of 2022 or something like that. Now, I'll read the details of the people in the obituary. So the chief mourner is the Asante Hene, Otumfuo Osei Tutu. It's followed by Nana Makunedu Yadom, the Asante Heba, Nana Boachi Kakari, Otumfuo Nkofa Hene, Nana Osei Kwejo, Otumfuo Abemben Hene, Nana Kwekwe Jare, Otumfuo Jaman Man Hene, Nana Kofinti, Otumfuo Chiame, Asokwa Ene Achemade, Nana Odi Nyakon II, Otumfuo Numua Oba Penyi, Honorable Cecilia Abena Dapa, Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Nana Ochim Kakari, Eyinanso Dakon, Ebusia Penyi Kojo Achim, Eyimanso, Anti Ya Ode Menshia, Nana Osei Kufuor, Ayure Hene, Nana Chan Sewa, Are Hima, Kwabna Safo, etc., etc. So this is Nana Kwesi Sam, who died. Okay. Now, his profile is that, not as much detail, but the company name is there, CDN Company. People can check. And we can check and find out whether, given the life he led and given the things he did, manufacturer, contractor, and the manufacture of security boots for police, fire service, and all of that, supplying to Ghana and other West African countries. Given all that profile, is he able to have $800,000 at the time just before he died? It's a question for everyone to look at. I don't know. You have the answer. This is the profile of the man. You can quickly Google his company. You can do all the checks. That's what we decided to do. Let's do the verification. And if we do the verification, we'll put out the information. And we'll put out the information for everyone to see. This is where we are. That is it. That's the story. So this is 800,000, and it was delivered in a box. No, not yet. Not yet. It was delivered in a box like this, and it is in the same box that was delivered, according to the story, delivered to the mother, that the mother delivered to Cecilia. That your brother has passed. He left me this money for his contractor work. He said he was going to buy land at Bremai and build houses and sell. That's what he told me. And that's what this money is for. So can you please take the money and call the other family people and said, I'm giving it to Cecilia to keep. And I understand that one of them remarked that, as it's on my minister, on our police, so the money was given to Auntie Cici. She carried the money and brought it to Accra, told her husband that your brother-in-law's money, Eno has given it to me. You know, Eno gave it to her, and then Eno died after that. So after Eno died, they buried Eno, and then they came to deal with it. So those brothers have also written to the police, confirming the source of this money. So now the matter is in the hands of the police. They will deal with it. But when I come to the OSP, shall discuss this Yachino or Yakronfo and all of that. I'm not saying somebody is Kronfo or somebody is not. But these are the facts. These are the real facts. So 300,000, 200,000, and 800,000. So when Auntie Sisi said in her statement that there are discrepancies, the police have added the 800,000 to the 200,000 to be 1 million without giving the particulars. So if you read the statement, you see the particulars. But in the general statement, because the police are investigating and they are prosecuting. So they are prosecuting you for stealing 1 million. They don't give the particulars of 800 was for this person, 900 was for this person, 200 was for this person. But that also sent a wrong signal to the general public that some 1 million, Cecilia has $1 million in her house. She says, my money is $200,000. It's for me. My husband's money is 300,000 euros for him. This one is not for me nor my husband. It is from my brother. And everybody in the family knows that I'm the one keeping it. So this is the story. Those of you who are very, very angry, please calm down. Or you can get more angry if you want. But send me a text to Good Evening Ghana Official and tell us what you think about the story. Now, knowing this story, do you now understand why the president put out the statement he put? Knowing this story. Because, I mean, the president is the top national security person. He was told all the facts. I'm sure he called Cecilia and said, what are the facts? I'm sure he called the police and said, what are the facts? The president was abroad. He was in Rome. And he was told all the facts. And then the circumstances suggested that Cecilia must resign anyway. We all agree with that. On Friday night, I was saying that this one, Auntie C, must resign. I love her to bits, but this one, she must resign. I said that to a few friends of mine. Other people said so. And somehow the pressure was put on her. She understood it. And so she tendered her resignation on Saturday. Then this was the president's response. I received your letter dated Saturday, 22nd July 2023, resigning from office as Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources and as a member of government. It is with considerable regret that I accept and I applaud your loyalty to the image and standing of the government. The work you undertook during your period in government was excellent and productive, and I thank you for your wholehearted contribution and devotion to the progress of the government and the nation. I am confident, like you, that at the end of the day, your integrity whilst in office will be established. I wish you the very best in all your endeavors. This is where they are saying the president's statements were prejudicial. He said, I am confident, like you, that at the end of the day, your integrity whilst in office will be established. I wish you the best. So if you know this story, and you are president and you know Cecilia Dapaah, you are more likely to write it like this. You see, when we grow up to the age where the president is 79 and to the age where Cecilia is 70, you get to know people for 40 years. People who know me know that this one Paul won't do. As for this one, I can't put it beyond Paul. He may do it. This one, he won't do it. So some people call me and say, oh, this person said something about you. I know them so well, I say that this person will never say this. I know him. He will never say this. Tell me something else. Some people have reported me to have said something and they say, oh, Paul will never talk like that. No, this is not Paul. He doesn't talk like that. So, president is coming from that angle. Knows Cecilia Dapaah for 40 years and says that, Auntie Sisi that I know, she's not a thief. No, far from that. And that is where she makes this statement, that I'm confident like you, that at the end of the day, your integrity. People have criticized the president for being prejudicial. But I like what Franklin Cudjoe said. About, can you put Franklin Cudjoe's thing on? I have a song for Cecilia Dapaah, and then we'll play it. Montage. All right. Okay. So this is Franklin Cudjoe. He said, speaking on Ghana Tonight show on TV3 Monday, Mr. Cudjoe said, you should know the president is always definitive when it comes to defending his people. No, I'm talking about that Cecilia Dapaah hasn't stolen. Where is that one? Franklin Cudjoe said, Cecilia Dapaah, yes. He says, of course, I can understand that he wants to be bowled out from his own bat. Loyalty sometimes does not necessarily equate to being complicit in matters. Of course, at this juncture, we can't say conclusively that the said minister has stolen any money. because until it is proven otherwise, we can't really say that. But the optics of sending money in the home of a minister is in itself quite annoying, and then to have the president being that definitive is quite wrong. Okay, so Franklin Cudjoe is critical of the situation, but he says that you can't say Cecilia Dapaah has stolen. That's the point I'll be making about the OSP. You have to wait for the court to say that, because you can't say that she has stolen the money. But he says that the money at home, I've explained to you the money at old people, they are not internet banking and they don't trust it, they don't believe in it. I mean, in the recent situation of what we have had in our country and around the world, where we have had to do a DD and all of that, it sort of undermines confidence in the banking system. The banking laws do not frown on keeping money at home. The police are not going to be able to prosecute anyone for keeping money at home. We, the young generation, we don't do that. Did I call myself young? I'm getting old now. But the young generation, they don't do that. They are on the internet banking. It's beautiful. Everywhere in the world you can transfer your money. They do that. But the old people don't quite do that. But it's a matter that where the jury is out. People can decide what they want. That's Franklin Cudjoe's comment. Now, this is the end of our epistle on Cecilia Dapaah.
Right, so I do hope you're enjoying the story so far. It hasn't ended yet, but let me go on a quick break. When I come back, I'll tell you about the alleged, we want to choose our words carefully as well, the alleged thieves. That's the house help, her accomplices, and we'll be telling you about how much each of them got in their booty. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation, to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
My son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you and cover the makers in Strano.
The pneumatological abrasion of the Lord revealeth unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. Up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasama Zongo Junction. At the K Pharmacy Dining. Yer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobin. Asafu Bwache Hospital Junction. Number 9 Market.
Tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program.
From 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply.
Yamawako about the button Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Ahadie, a bano KSC near Wakadia. Ubenya Biwaha. Kabian in the house, any new here. Yansu, you were winning the four, or best son we ye amount. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories ye jumedie die. Eye 24/7 o. Ye siesie wo engine, wo brake, battery, yesesa wo tire. Se ba no car wash dia. Ye wo abefun fidie bi ti se steamer ye de horo car engine abra nsuo nko engine nim. Ye san ye detailing metre se ye betwetwe car no mu ba bia ma o. Ye wi a ya san polish car na ma o kama. Enye we no monko ye san to car batteries, tires, rims, any de keke kan. Manadum Auto Fix and Accessories ema wo car ensi ne dadem na enwu adwuma ma o. Hwehwe ye chira kwan wo dansuma na sorry dan ho a ene KFC bon hwani mu e won kran. Se wo information anansem bi se bia 024 651 9369. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Okwan so yonkwo papa.
Do you need a place with a stunning view and serene environment just beneath the Green Mountains with a commercial center and recreational area with an amazing park? Then look no further.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Welcome to Rehoboth Havens, the most affordable yet luxurious gated community located in Damfa, Accra. We have 2 and 3 bedroom houses with spacious park. Let me show you. All of our rooms come with beautiful porcelain tiles, durable fitted kitchen cabinets,
constant water supply,
electricity and water 24/7.
Am I in this house? What's my purpose? If you're living in Ghana and want an affordable and luxurious house to buy, look no further than Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. Oh, and to those from the diaspora, aren't you tired of living in places that doesn't belong to you? You can also own your house and be your own landlord from Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. I have my own Bosu landlord.
Contact us now. Rehoboth Social Housing. Your housing dream becomes reality.
Well, you're welcome back from the break. We're getting lots of text messages, but we'll see if we are able to read some of them to you. If we are not, I'm sure in our subsequent bulletins we'll do all of that for you. Now, the story so far had been about the sources of the funding for Honorable Cecilia Dapaah. Now, the peak point of the whole story is about how the House Help was able to gradually, or in a very processed way, take out all of these monies, and how she shared with her accomplices, that's her boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, and how they have all made the monies they were getting, goodies out of the booty, and the monies they were getting. What it is that Attorney General Godfrey Dame had given an advice on this whole story. The Office of the Special Prosecutor, so to speak, had gone into the home of Honorable Cecilia Dapaah, and lots of, again, issues and stories had come out around all of these things, and some people thought that it wasn't in the appropriate order. Here on Good Evening Ghana, Senior Paul Adumochi had commented on it. And then you heard Martin Amidu, the first special prosecutor who was appointed to the Office of the Special Prosecutor, also comment. We think that his comments, his opinion, side with what Paul Adumochi had done. But let me show you the entire video. At the end of the video, you would see the comments of Martin Amidu, which we believe side with the comments and the thoughts of Paul Adumochi. See the video.
So we have now laid hands from our police sources, the document that Attorney General has sent to them. We have summarized the Attorney General's advice. In the document, the Attorney General recounts the story. In the advice that Attorney General sends to the CID, he recounts the story. So for the first part of our presentation, we are going to recount the story with photographs and graphics so that you can understand and follow well. When the graphics are done, we will then focus on the advice that Attorney General rendered to the CID in how to conduct these investigations. Thank you very much, and follow us now. So these are the protagonists, Cecilia Dapaah and her husband. Now, these are, yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's go move to the next one. Shall I? Okay, let's get to the next one, the accused persons. Great, thank you. So this is how we have presented the accused persons, viewers, so that you can understand in the graphics way that we're going to do it. So can you put that on the TV for them to see, then it's clear. So as I walk through, perfect. So viewers, as you see it, please take Good Evening Ghana office. This is obstructed. Okay, thank you. Viewers, as you see it, Patience Boche to the left of your screen is a house help and the first accused. Sarah J is also a house help and the second accused. Benjamin Soa is the current boyfriend of Patience Boche. Please don't get confused though. Benjamin Soa, he is the current boyfriend of the first one, Patience Boche. Okay. Next to Benjamin Soa is Kweku Boche. Kweku Boche is the father of Patience Boche. And then the last one, he is the real McCoy. He's called Malik Dauda. He is the former boyfriend of Patience Boche and an employee of Cecilia Dapa's husband, Osei Kufuor. So I think now we get who we are dealing with. These are the people we are dealing with. Maabna is Patience Boche, house help, number 1. Sarah J, 18-year-old, house help, number 2. Benjamin Soa, Patience Boche, Maabna's current boyfriend. Kweku Boche, Maabna's father. And Dauda, Maabna's ex-boyfriend. Now, one more thing to tell you before you go on. It's in the document. But Cecilia Dapa also told me this. Now, Patience Boche is unknown to Cecilia Dapa and her husband. They don't know her. They know Dauda, who works for Cecilia Dapa's husband. Dauda comes to them one day and says that, my mother and my father have a problem. What is the problem? I have gone into a woman who is at JSS, and she says she's pregnant. She's called Patience Boche. This is the problem I have. And they say, hey, she's pregnant? Yes, she's pregnant. She's a small girl, JSS. And I have made her pregnant. And they say, but Dauda, how much resources do you command that you're going to be able to look after a child? So you know what you want to do? You know what we'll do for you? Go and bring your baby mama, who is still pregnant, to come and live with us. And she will work here 3 times a week so we can give her some money and it can help the child. This is very interesting and it will be very painful to the couple. Dauda goes on a frolic of his own to go and impregnate Patience. Patience is pregnant. Dauda is concerned. Dauda has such a good relationship with his bosses, Cecilia Dapa and her husband, that he's able to confide in them that I'm in trouble, I've impregnated somebody. And they said, oh, Dauda, don't worry. Go and bring her to come and work here. She'll work 3 times a week. So that's her. And then Maabna is a regular 18-year-old maid servant who lives permanently with them. But she comes 3 times a week. As she starts the work though, and as she has the child now, she has stopped with this man, Dauda. Patience and Dauda have stopped. Patience is now dating Benji Bensoa. He's the one that Patience is dating now. I don't know whether Benji knows that Patience's child is by Dauda, who is also working in the same place as Patience works. I don't know whether he knows, but Benji is the key guy now. He's the one driving the Mercedes. Okay, all right, let's move on. So this is how we get on next. What was the total money applied to? Patience Boche here is house help, and Benjamin Soa is his current boyfriend. Yeah? Okay. Patience Boche goes to rent this 4-bedroom apartment as part of the booty that she stole from Cecilia Dapa's house. This 4-bedroom apartment is taken. Then she buys a Hyundai Elantra, nice one. Benjamin on his part buys Honda Civic, great, and he keeps $10,000. It's painful, it's funny, it's interesting, and it's a lesson. Okay, but what we want to do here is tell you the truth. We don't know whether somebody stole the money. We are not interested. When the story breaks, as news reporters, we give you the story. And you haven't seen this anywhere, have you? Everybody saying that's why we are there is a thief. Yeah, they should say that. As they say, Hitler will do his worst, but we will do our best. This is our work. We'll show you the thing, you make your decision. So this is how the thing has been distributed. Patience Boche Maabna now has rented a 4-bedroom house, $4,000 a month. She paid down payment. She paid for a year, but the rent, advance. She's driving a Hyundai Elantra, Honda Civic, and $10,000 for Benjamin. Let's move on. What else happens? Okay. Patience Boche now is alleged to be keeping a bag that contains 200,000 United States dollars. That bag, this is what she's keeping. That's what's alleged. Sarah AJ, on the other hand, 18-year-old, is keeping a bag that contains 200,000 Ghana cedis. She's keeping it. It's a bag that contains 200,000 Ghana cedis. 18-year-old, 200,000 cash, boom, standard, you know. And Patience is keeping, in addition to the house and the car, is keeping a bag that has $200,000. All right, let's move on. Okay, this is still Patience Butchie, who has rented the apartment already, but she now rents a shop, still in Tamale. She rents a shop. Then she gives her father 50,000 cedis. This is her father, Kweku Butchie. She gives her father 50,000 cedis. And then she gives her sister, named Lariba Ali. We are not sure why she is Patience Butchie, father is Kweku Butchie, and her sister is Lariba Ali. Maybe sister from another mother or another father, I'm not sure. Anyway, so she gives her sister, Lariba Ali, 20,000 Ghana cedis. So this is how the money is being expended. Yeah, let's move on. Sarah Ajay, the 18-year-old, with the money that she gets, she purchased land at Kaswa for 17,000 and is building on it. And then she's bought a home. It's alleged against her by the prosecution that she's bought a home at Blue Rose Estate at Buduburam. She denies that claim. And on the documents, she denies the claim. So no issues here. She denies the claim. All right. Malik Dauda, who is former boyfriend of Patience and employee of Osei Kufuor, used the money he got to go and complete his house at Bolgatanga. I love Malik, man. Now, he impregnated a lady. They told my boss, I've impregnated a lady. I beg you. She's a young girl. I don't know what to do. Oh, go and bring her home. Bring her. She can work 3 times a week. We pay her some money. And then the two of them come together and then they do the action. And then he's in Bolgatanga and Charlie. The guy has completed his nice, beautiful house. He's completed it, guy. He's staying in Bolgatanga. He has DSTV. He's watching Manchester United. Then he's drinking this and that. He's just enjoying himself. Malik Dauda. Okay. Now, this is Cecilia Dapai. Let's assume this is Cecilia Dapai's house. Let's get to the story as reported in the Attorney General's advice in terms of how the person was found. So, Cecilia Dapai is busy doing sanitation work all over the place. And she's away. Her husband travels to Achimota early in the morning. That guy is strong, man. Over 80 years old. He's going to Achimota early in the morning. He says he has to go to Achimota. And the reason why he's going to Achimota changes. So he's coming back home. So he's not expected at home at the time. He comes home and in entering his bedroom, this is what happens. He enters the bedroom and this is Patience Butchie sitting behind the door. He noticed that there's somebody behind the door. He enters and it's Patience Butchie who is there just holding dollar, seeing that Dada is standing behind me. What do I do with the dollar? Where did you get the money from? Dauda said, this said, that said, that said, and that's the story that we are unraveling right now. So this is the scene as described by Mr. Osei Kufuor, the famous architect, of what he saw when he came accidentally from Achimota, because they knew the money was there. Now we're going to go into the details of the money and what the advisor that Attorney General has given the CID. But this is what he saw. This is how we depict it for you. So this is Mr. Osei Kufuor, and that's the young woman who came to the house only because she had had a baby with somebody who worked there, and the parents of the house thought that if you have had a baby with a woman and you can't look after her, let her come and work here for 3 days and then you can deal with it. And then they're together, and then she's found then clutching onto so much money which is in the house. Okay, so let's get now to the Attorney General's advice in what we've summarized. What did the Attorney General tell the CID? It's as follows. Attorney General's advice starts from here. He says, Cecilia Dapai also mentioned amounts of $200,000 and €300,000 as having been stolen from the room without indicating who the amounts of money belonged to. We have observed that the $200,000 and the $800,000 have been lumped together in one count on the charge sheets as belonging to Cecilia Dapai. It is important for the police to conduct investigations into. So let's look at this here. Attorney General is saying that Cecilia Dapai didn't say the money is for her. They should get her to say that the money is for her so that they can check, so that they can investigate. If the money is for her, where did she get it from? If the 300 is for her husband, where did she get it from? She should say that again and say it clearly. Okay. And then he goes on to say that the police have put together the 800,000, which she says is not for her, and the 200,000. That's the whole point about Cecilia Dapai has stolen 1 million. Because they are adding 800 plus 200. Because the police, when they went to court, said the total amount of money that has been stolen belonging to they did not isolate the belonging to for people to see. So that's one propaganda that's gone out. That's not quite true. But anyway, let's move on. So Attorney General says that it is important for the police to conduct investigations into A, the true ownership of the amounts of $200,000 and $300,000 and €300,000. The true ownership of the amounts. B, the sources from which the established owners of the amounts of $200,000 and $300,000 acquired the money. That's very important. So the Attorney General is saying that, first of all, confirm that $200,000 belongs to Cecilia Dapaah and $300,000 belongs to her husband. First of all, deal with that. Once you cross that, now come and find out that the source from which they say they got that money, the source from which her husband says I got €300,000, and the source from which Cecilia Dapaah says I get $200,000, investigate those sources. That's what the Attorney General is telling CID. Then he says, it is important for the police to establish the ownership of the various amounts of money dishonestly appropriated, that is to say stolen, to avoid any duplicity in the charges. Attorney General is saying that it's important for the police to establish the ownership of the various amounts of money that have been stolen so that there's no duplicity. Because right now, the accused persons are saying that, me, I didn't take 1 million. I took 17,000. I took this, I took that, I took that. There was a 17,000 slide. Did I miss it? The lady's money, the 17,000 slide. Can you, I'm just seeing that I missed it. I didn't use it. The slide that says she bought a land and something for 17,000. I used it. Oh, we used it. Okay. I didn't make the point. All right. Okay. So this is what Attorney General is saying. This is Attorney General's advice together, which has now gone to the CID. I understand that tomorrow the CID might be reading it in court, so people will see it. But you heard it here first, didn't you? Thank you very much. Thank you to our police sources who gave us the information. The police are very nice people, you know. We asked them that this one, they said, oh, but this is not a secret. The Graphic had published that Attorney General, we had sent the docket, so he's brought the advice. We'll read it in court tomorrow, but if you want it, here it is. I said, oh, thank you, sir. Yeah. Cecilia Dapaah also mentioned so that should be sorted, and then the true ownership of the amounts should be sorted, and then also where they got the money from. So the Attorney General is not concerned about that the money was in the house. As people know, the rules are not against anybody keeping money in the house. We have to keep money in the bank, but the rules are not against. So that's not part of the prosecution. So they kept the money in the house, yes. Who is the money for, as they have disclosed? They have already told you, confirm that the money is for these people. And then investigate where those people got the money from. And then report back to the Attorney General. And if there's prosecution, there will be prosecution. If there's arbitration, there will be arbitration. Is that not the end of the story? Okay. Martin Amidu has been saying something about OSP, and I think it's related to this one. So let's have a look. So this is a story on Ghana Web. Martin Amidu wades into Cecilia Dapaah's stolen 1 million saga. Okay. The case of the former minister, Cecilia Dapaah, and her husband hit the airwaves on July 21, 2023, and she was immediately found guilty by the media and the public opinion. This must be a reminder of those who have lived through the June 4, 1979 uprising, where Ghanaians, including junior officers of the armed forces, hysterically, emotionally, and irrationally. Oh, wow. Is Martin Amidu saying this? Martin Amidu, the Keda, talking about this. That is so interesting. This must be a reminder for those who have lived through June 4, 1979 uprising, where Ghanaians, including junior officers of the armed forces, hysterically, emotionally, and irrationally bayed for blood of former heads of state and other senior military officers who eventually lost their lives at the firing squad amid cheers from the public. The worst of the public hysteria and emotions looking for the minister's blood was yet to happen, and that the unlawful populist law enforcement rubric of the OSP. I love that. But that is true. That day, what the OSP did was very, very wrong. It was so terrible, backward, crude, very, very bad. So much so that Martin Amidu pops up to look at the words he's using to describe. That it is unlawful. It is populist. It is the rubric of the OSP. That's what Martin Amidu is saying. He's concerned about that. And all of us ought to have been concerned about that. Some people even insulted me for saying that. But here is a very wise man. Granting that I'm not. But you know, he's a deep thinker. He's a lawyer for many years. And that's what he says. He says it's unlawful. Okay, let's go on. He mentions him by name now. He says, Kisi Ajaben, by publicizing the supposed arrest of Cecilia Dapaah, who had just resigned her office as Minister of State, was eroding her presumption of innocence and deepening the perception that the former minister was guilty of an unstated offense before she could even be investigated for a specified corruption offense. Populism has no place in law enforcement. Oh, Martin Amidu, God bless you. You go to heaven. Tell Dr. Dampari to the same thing. Tell Dr. Dampari, let's read it again. Populism has no place in law enforcement. OSP and Dr. Dampari, are you listening to Martin Amidu? He says populism has no place in law enforcement. You go arrest the Dapaah, then you call all the media to come. Everybody come, follow me. Let me go arrest the Dapaah. IGP, today is here, take photo. Tomorrow he's dancing. Then he's talking to children. Then law enforcement has no place for populism. Is for the day are you, Black Stars captain. Matami, you should have added it. That populism is for that. Even though Rawlings used to do a bit of populism, but he's a politician, so that's okay. Populism has no place in law enforcement. Okay, law enforcement is a serious and impartial business as it deals with upholding the constitutionally guaranteed rights of citizens suspected of the commission of crime during investigation. Firstly, he says, it is unethical to deploy law enforcement in aid of public hysteria and emotions before the establishment of prima facie evidence pursuant to an investigation. Secondly, there is no offense known under Section 79 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act as corruption and corruption-related offenses. Hey, this is getting very interesting. This is getting interesting. We are going to be very interested. We're going to pursue this. We're going to pursue this. We are going to ask the question Martin Amidu is asking directly to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We're going to write to him. Freedom of Information, quick work on it. Freedom of Information Act, bring it. We are going, like the way we did with Nana Togbe Afede when he said that he doesn't want S. Gracia and we knew that it was dishonest. The way letter we wrote to Council of State. Let's draft that letter to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Martin Amidu says that there is no offense known under the Section 79 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the Prosecutor Act, as corruption and corruption-related offenses. Because OSP said he's investigating Cecilia Dapaah for corruption and corruption-related. Martin Amidu says you have no such power. You have no such locus. Under the law that establishes you can't do that. It's the Attorney General who can do it. The Attorney General can investigate anything. Corruption, corruption-related offenses, LGBTQI, Attorney General can investigate everything. Office of Special Prosecutor, you have a limit. And Martin Amidu is reminding you that under Section 79, there's nothing called corruption and corruption-related offenses. So what do you mean by you are investigating somebody for corruption and corruption-related? When you have no mandate so to do, we shall deal with this. We shall deal with it. Consequently, the Special Prosecutor was violating the constitutional rights of the former minister by accusing her of no offense known to Act 959. Indeed, Parliament has not passed any law criminalizing unexplained wealth, and the OSP's LI 2374 does not create any such offense. Furthermore, Article 286 and 287 dealing with the asset declaration referred to by those lawyers are enforceable by the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice and not the OSP. Now, somebody is saying that the OSP is being an octopus and claiming territory where the Constitution and the law that set him up had never intended. That's what he's saying. He's saying that the OSP has become an octopus and he's claiming territory in places where the law that set him up, the 1992 Constitution, the Criminal Offences Act, the Criminal Procedure Offences Act, has not given him those powers. But you can understand, when people are behaving like film stars, they forget to check their mandate. You can understand, can't you? This is very, very interesting. And we're going to deal with that. We're going to deal with that a whole lot. The Special Prosecutor was, therefore, on a populist and unethical frolic of his own, and fishing for evidence by placing the former minister under arrest and purporting to investigate her. As a result of the populist and unethical law enforcement by the OSP, on same Monday, 24 July 2023, one Eric Mawena Egbeta, a TV3 reporter, in a stand-up reportage in front of OSP, referenced sources within the OSP in telling the station that a new stash of money was found during a search at the former minister's residence, which took them about 5 hours to count. There can be no smoke without fire, so the saying goes. The public believes that the investigation division of the OSP must have leaked the results of their search at the former minister's and her husband's residence to Eric Mawenya Egbeta, the TV3 reporter, for him to engage in a stand-up reportage at the OSP. No amount of sophistry in language used by the special prosecutor can change that perception brought about by the indiscretion, irresponsible, and unprofessional investigative style of the OSP. Masamidi is going very hard. He says the indiscretion, irresponsible, and the unprofessional investigative style of the OSP. The Ghana Police Service should, as a matter of urgency and fairness, investigate the sources of the alleged leakages as mandated by Section 74 of Act 595, as the special prosecutor will have to be the subject of this investigation himself to establish which authorized officers committed the offense. Oh, that's interesting. Martin Amidu is telling the police that you can actually begin an investigation of the special prosecutor. Don't you know that? You should begin an investigation of him. Because why did the information leak? And he himself should be a subject of the investigation. He, the special prosecutor. Did he leak it? He has committed an offense or a misdemeanor. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. The serious scrutiny breaches to the residence of Cecilia Dapaah, the serious security breaches to the residence of Cecilia Dapaah has left broken eggs all over the face of the president and his law enforcement agencies. In all these, ineptitude and presumption of innocence has been trampled upon as though it has never been guaranteed under the Constitution. In the case of the former minister's husband, his voice has completely been silenced by mob lynching, hysteria, and emotions, as though marrying a woman who has become a minister of state kills one's very existence as a human being. The manner this case has been handled by the executive branch and its agencies may constitute a disincentive for honest and qualified citizens to wish to accept appointment to high office in the Republic. That is true. Even the worst suspected criminal is entitled to the presumption of innocence and a fair trial until proven guilty by a court of law under the 1992 Constitution. The Constitution mandates all genuine constitutional defense activists to defend those hallowed rights, even if they may incur the opprobrium of a hysteric and emotional public. Wow. I want to clap. Martin Benz-Kaiser Amidu. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Did you see the wisdom? Did you see the power of thoughts? You see, this is what I call the power of thoughts. And that's what media is about. All media should be distilling this. I have not heard anybody talk about it. All the media, tomorrow, the Super Morning Show on Joy FM, they should be distilling this information. It is nation building. This is what they call nation building. Not slumping the drums of corruption when you have no basis. Martin Amidu, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, so that's been the story so far. You can trust Good Evening Ghana, of course, to dig and dig and dig and, of course, follow the matter properly into the very details of it throughout the court proceedings and feed you with all of the details and as the story will unfold. My name is Kwesefri. I sat in for my boss, Paul Adom Oche. So what we brought you today is the fact that tomorrow you are celebrating the 4th of August, and so you needed to understand the essence of 4th of August and the people that fought, that laid themselves down and put their blood forward for the independence of this country and for the democracy that we are entirely enjoying today. So we brought you that. We brought you, of course, the President's defense of celebrating the Founders' Day instead of it being for just a single person, and the acknowledgement of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as an integral part of the celebration that we are all celebrating today, but of course, not him or himself alone. And then we told you about the story of Madam, or former Minister of Sanitation, Cecilia Dapaah. We also gave you an opinion, of course, from Professor Akosua Pebby. Next Tuesday, we'll be back in the seat for God and Country, and I'm sure my boss, Paul Adumoche, will be in the seat, and you will enjoy the show. Thank you very much for watching us tonight. My name is Kwesi Efi. Have a very good evening.